Good morning, class. Lesson 43, more arithmetic with mixed numbers. We've already studied mixed numbers in lesson 40. That was the lesson I taught you, box, and today you'll see why that's so important. We're going to jump right into our examples because we already know a lot about mixed numbers. Today we just added story problems with them. So we're at a local pizzeria. They're going to donate 14 pizzas to the 6th grade class picnic. How many pizzas will there be for each of the 3 6th grade classes? So here we go. We have 14 divided by 3. Now we got to ask ourselves in this question, do we want a remainder or do we want to cut them up? And in some problems we don't want to cut them up. For example, if we had 14 goldfish and we were going to put them in the 3 6th grade classes, well then we'd only put, let's figure it out, 4, 12, 2. You have 2 goldfish. Would it make much sense to cut those 2 goldfish up and put them in the 6th grade class? No. So I always say if it's going to bleed, don't cut it. But a pizza doesn't bleed. Well, I know it's got pizza sauce, but it's not going to bleed. And so we can cut those up and we can deliver those to the different classrooms. So the 2 becomes the numerator and the 3 becomes the denominator. So we got 4 2/3 pizzas per class. Okay? All right, example number 2 says, at home, Mario used a bread-making machine. I don't know if you've ever made one of these. When I was a little kid, my mom had one of these, but we haven't done this for a long time. To make 3 loaves of bread, Mario used 7 cups of whole wheat flour. Now just visualize 7 cups of flour. Do you want to leave one of those on the counter? Does flour bleed? No? Okay, so we could divide that cup up into smaller pieces. So which one of these would be right? 2 1/3 or 2 and we left one on the counter? Well, let's divide. 7 cups of flour into our 3 loaves of bread. 3 goes into 7, 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And you have 1 cup left over. 1 cup on the counter. Now your loaves of bread aren't going to turn out real good if you don't follow the recipe. So we need to put that flour into each of the loaves of bread. So a little for this loaf, a little for this loaf, a little for this loaf. Well, how many loaves are there? 3, so that's your denominator. And you have 1 cup left. So it's going to be 1/3, 2 1/3 cups per loaf. So you can't leave that one a remainder. All right. Example number 3. This was actually on our lesson from yesterday, if you remembered. A whole circle is 100%. If a circle is divided into thirds, then each third is what percent? So you'd actually write this problem like this: 1/3 of 100%. Divide by the bottom number, multiply by the top. So we're going to take this one, and we're going to take 100 and divide it by 3. How many times does 3 go into 10? 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9, and when you subtract, you get 1. Bring down the 0, you got 10 again. How many times does 3 go into 10? Same answer, 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 1. You know, this problem would go on forever and ever and ever with the same 3, 3, 3 repeating. You'll learn about repeating numbers next year. So now we take our 1, we make it our numerator, and we take our divisor, and we make it our denominator, and we got 33 1/3%. Each little portion is 33 1/3%, 33 1/3%, 33 1/3%. And when you add that all up, you get 100. Example number 4. It says a recipe calls for adding 1½ cups of milk to 5 cups of whole wheat flour. Sounds like you're going to make some pancakes here. Milk and flour and throw an egg in there, you get some pancake mix. To find the sum of these ingredients, add 5 and 1½ Now you're seeing why Mr. Bauer was saying box. Because we want to put whole numbers over whole numbers. And where it looks really weird to leave this open, that's actually what's happening here. And in the past, some kids would write like this. And then they try to add that, and that didn't work. So whole numbers over whole numbers, fractions over fractions. Now the 5 didn't have a fraction here, no big deal. When we add that up, a half plus nothing is a half, and 5 plus 1 is 6, and so your answer is 6½ It adds up real easily. Remember our box. Now that's just Mr. Bauer's method. The book likes to do it with this little dotted line, but I thought that still looked a little bit confusing. So I used the box method. We came up with 6½ what? 6½ cups. Remember, if you ever see Mrs. Bauer in the hallway, you just say, box. She loves that. All right, number 5. For Tuesday night's homework, that's kind of funny because today's Tuesday, Allie spent 1 hour reading and a half an hour finishing a math assignment. To find the total time spent on homework, add 1 plus a half. Again, box, 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 box. We got 1 hour nothing plus no whole number and a half. And this is exactly what it should look like on your papers, okay? The boxes help you. Now later on, we're going to graduate from those boxes where we don't need them anymore. For now, let's keep them. And that problem was pretty easy. 1 hour plus a half an hour is an hour and a half. Okay? And then the last one for today, 6 example problems, 6 spots. Let's get it. Graciela bought 3.5 pounds of grapes at the store. She used a half a pound of grapes, so she ate them in a salad. I don't know about what kind of salad has grapes in it, but whatever. To find the weight of the grapes she has left, perform the subtraction. 3.5 minus a half. Now you're thinking to yourself, that is pretty easy. A half minus a half. Here's my box method. Get my fractions over my fractions and my whole numbers over my whole numbers. And a half minus a half is 0 over 2, which is really just 0. And so what does she have left? 3 pounds. Some of those I think you can do in your head. Okay? For example, look at E. 6 2/3 minus 3. That's really like saying 6 minus 3 is 3, keep the 2/3. This one is easy too. 2.5 minus a half. A half minus a half is nothing, so what do you have left? 2. Same with this one. 3/4 plus 2, you'd have 2 and 3/4. Okay? Alright guys. Adding mixed numbers, subtracting mixed numbers. Remember our method. Box, 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 box. I'm going to give you help on a few of the problems for today's lesson. Stay tuned for our next video.